Former AEW World Champion Jon Moxley makes his return on AEW Dynamite, says this is not your company anymore to Tony Schiavone, possibly a message to AEW CEO Tony Khan, and also calls out Darby Allin while also getting a brand new partner. Bryan Danielson says he will not retire as AEW champion and intends to defend the title, but he's going to be defending it soon against TNT champion Jack Perry at All Out, with the scapegoat attacking Danielson to conclude last night's show. Ricochet wins his first Dynamite match. He was kind of confronted by Will Ospreay afterwards, but he was attacked by his International Championship opponents at All Out, Pac. MJF will face off against Daniel Garcia at AEW All Out. Speaking of All Out, a steel cage grudge match between Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland has been confirmed for the upcoming pay-per-view. Jamie Hayter is victorious in her first Dynamite match in well over a year. An update on the future of the 5-match WWE Premium Live event schedule, plus positivity surrounding the AEW All In London surprises at Wembley Stadium last weekend, and a lot of excitement surrounding the big spot involving Big Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman on Monday Night Raw. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's begin with Jon Moxley. Now, of course, apropos that we did a story last night talking about Jon Moxley, his absence, a bit of uncertainty surrounding his AEW future. Well, that was put to rest very quickly, wasn't it? Because Jon Moxley returned to AEW Dynamite on Wednesdays without his Wild Thing entrance music, opting for his New Japan Pro Wrestling theme instead, and made his presence known by addressing another hardcore wrestler in the company. Moxley called out Darby Allin, who was coming off a TNT Championship defeat to Jack Perry in a coffin match at All In, but who also has an AEW World Championship opportunity coming his way at Grand Slam. Moxley opened the show by coming through the crowd for the first time since the Forbidden Door pay-per-view 2 months ago without his usual intensity. As he got to the ring, Tony Schiavone stepped off the commentary desk and grabbed a microphone to meet him. Schiavone asked Moxley how he was doing since fans had not seen him for a while. Moxley replied that he had been doing more thinking than talking lately and had been thinking about things that need to get done. He said he came to Dynamite looking for a man who isn't there so they could have a conversation. Moxley meant Darby Allin. He said Allin is everything like him, yet nothing like him, and it was about time they have a talk. He then went to leave the ring, and Schiavone began welcoming the crowd to the show when Moxley turned back around. Moxley told Schiavone that it was going to take some time for everyone to wrap their brains around something and said, quote, "This is not your company anymore," with no further context to what he meant. Moxley was previously reported to be on an extended break from AEW after losing the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship to Tetsuya Naito at the Forbidden Door crossover pay-per-view. Now, Moxley was backstage at wrestling Revolver events in his native Ohio over All In weekend. He didn't make the trip over to London. Now, we also saw a new partner for Moxley and possibly the beginning of a faction develop on AEW Dynamite last night. Now, as I mentioned, after this opening segment involving Moxley and Schiavone, an interviewer following Moxley in the back asked what exactly Moxley meant in the ring when he told Schiavone, "This is not your company anymore." Grabbing the person, Moxley said, "You know what we could really use around here? Some humility," before a flying kick from another person struck them. Knocking out another security guard, the attacker joining Moxley was revealed to be none other than Marina Shafir. While their on-screen partnership in AEW is new, the pair are no strangers to each other, as Moxley has named Shafir as someone on the AEW roster he sees potential in and provides with feedback. Now, it's unclear if there are plans for Moxley to grow a faction or if this is solely an alliance between him and Shafir, but of course we'll keep you updated with any further updates. But what do you think Jon Moxley meant when he says this is not your company anymore? Is it the beginning of an invasion angle of some sort? Some people speculating a New Japan Pro Wrestling invasion, considering he came out to his New Japan music, a Shane McMahon invasion. There have been rumors that Shane O'Mac could be coming into AEW. What do you think this means? Let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section below. Now, since his victory at All In over the weekend, many had wondered What would be next for Bryan Danielson? We know he's probably going to retire from full-time wrestling later on this year, but AEW World Champion Bryan Danielson has said he isn't retiring anytime soon after winning the gold from Swerve Strickland at All In. He said on Dynamite that he will continue to defend the belt for as long as he can, but that he will retire from full-time competition when he loses it. Danielson issued a first-come, first-served challenge for the championship at All Out, and another champion blindsided him to accept. Danielson came out to the ring and spoke about his victory and his family and said Sunday was his favorite moment of his career. He explained his AEW contract has expired. It expired on August 1st and that he'll be needing neck surgery sooner rather than later, and his family is ready for him to come home. He said he's had a lot of thinking to do since his victory. Danielson expressed his love for professional wrestling and for AEW, saying the fact that the company even exists makes not just professional wrestling better, but his life as well. He said it's probably time for him to go home, but not just yet. Quote, "I will not retire as AEW champion," Danielson said. "I'm going to fight for this championship as much as I possibly can, and granted, don't get this twisted, as soon as I lose this, my full-time career is over, but that's not going to be anytime soon because I still have a lot of heads to kick in." He then issued the challenge for All Out, and TNT champion Jack Perry appeared on the Videotron in what turned out to be a pre-recorded video. He said that no one believed in him, including Danielson, so he had to make his own future. Perry said the only time they've stood across from each other in the ring was after Perry was set on fire before pinning Danielson during the anarchy in the arena. Perry said his future is to retire Danielson, but Danielson's future is behind him. Perry himself jumped Danielson from behind to end Dynamite. So it looks like this is going to be a match set up for AEW All Out for the AEW World Championship. Now, Ricochet made his AEW Dynamite debut last night on TBS. Ricochet talked up his first win in AEW on this week's AEW Dynamite, taking down Don Callis family member Kyle Fletcher in his Dynamite debut. Days after his much-awaited arrival during All In at Wembley Stadium on Sunday, where he was unable to win the Casino Gauntlet match for a future AEW World Championship opportunity, the one and only took on Fletcher in an evenly contested match. With Fletcher close to victory on multiple occasions, ultimately Ricochet outlasted his opponent to secure the victory after around 12 minutes. Following the match, though, AEW International Champion Will Ospreay emerged to confront his longtime rival, but the moment was soon spoiled by Ospreay's all-out challenger Pac, who landed a Poison Rana on the aerial assassin onto the stage. Pac snarled that he wasn't to be overlooked, extending his warning to Ricochet if he intends on getting his way before leaving. Ricochet ran to check on Ospreay, calling Pac out to no avail. The bastard could become a double champion with a victory at the upcoming pay-per-view, having won the World Trios Championship alongside Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta at All In. Now, it's not the only match set up for AEW All Out, as MJF and Daniel Garcia look to settle their differences on September 7, with a grudge match set for All Out during Wednesday's AEW Dynamite. Following his International Championship loss to Will Ospreay during last weekend's All In, the self-anointed American champion and American hero said he was denouncing the nation before sharing a message for each of Ospreay and Garcia, the latter of whom returned last weekend to interfere on behalf of the former. Garcia had been previously written off with a neck injury sustained in a vicious attack by MJF following his own international title loss to Ospreay in July. The former champion had words for both of his rivals, but it was Garcia who answered the call and emerged to attack and challenge MJF to a bout at All Out. This will be just the second time they've met in in-ring competition one-on-one, with MJF successfully defending his AEW World Championship against Garcia in November of 2023. Garcia returned at All In to help cost MJF the match with Ospreay. His storyline with MJF continues to unfold, even though his contract status with AEW remains uncertain, with him yet being putting pen to paper over a new contract. Now, Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland will finally go at it once again, this time inside of a steel cage. Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland set the stage for the fourth chapter of their rivalry during AEW Dynamite. Days after losing to Bryan Danielson in the main event of All In, Strickland emerged following Page's hard-fought victory over Tomohiro Ishii to lambast his rival as a petulant child and recall the time Strickland in storyline broke into Page's home, adding that he had made another visit during their undecided rubber rubber match earlier this year. Swerve laid out the challenge for a fourth bout at this upcoming AEW All Out event in a steel cage match, so as to put aside Page's claim that he couldn't be beat without interference. But Hangman did directly address the challenge, opting to slide out of the ring and leave his rival standing unanswered. Regardless, AEW President and CEO Tony Khan has since made the match official with an announcement on social media. He said, quote, "The most violent rivalry in AEW history culminates on September 7th in Chicago at AEW All Out when Hangman Adam Page faces Swerve Strickland inside of a steel cage." The pair of former AEW World Champions have been embroiled in a vendetta for almost a year, meeting in the ring for the first time at WrestleDream in October with Strickland the victor. They had a Texas Deathmatch rematch at Full Gear a month later with the same outcome before the wrestling to a time limit draw in February, advancing both his challenges to Samoa Joe's world title at AEW Revolution. Shortly after their segment on Wednesday, Fightful Select reported some more details on this, saying that there were originally supposed to be more matches in the initial feud, including a cage match, but the decision was made to wait, possibly because, as Strickland alluded to this week, Page's wife was pregnant at the time. Fightful Select also reports that Page had an extensive paternity leave as part of his AEW contract, which accounts for Page's absence following Revolution until his return over the summer. Now, speaking of returns, Jamie Hayter made her return to AEW at All In, and last night she made a return to AEW Dynamite. Jamie Hayter came out victorious in her first match in 15 months against Harley Cameron on AEW Dynamite after returning to the company at Wembley Stadium during the 0-hour pre-show before All In. When Hayter returned at Wembley Stadium, she interrupted Cameron's Outcast stablemate Saraya's big moment, taking out the Knight family, who had accompanied Saraya to the ring as she did so. Hayter started off the match aggressively against Cameron. After taking Hayter's offense, Cameron slid out of the ring where Saraya checked on her. Hayter also got out of the ring and stared Saraya down before getting Cameron back in the squared circle. Cameron looked for soul food, but Hayter countered and hit 3 back-to-back backbreakers, then the Hayterade for the victory. Following the match, Saraya threw Cameron back into Hayter's way to distract her as she escaped over the ring barricade and through the crowd. The win was Hayter's first since she was sidelined for various injuries following dropping the AEW Women's World Championship to timeless Toni Storm at Double or Nothing in May 2023. It was previously reported that Hayter had to receive special permission from doctors to wrestle the match against Storm to drop the title. The former Women's Champion was previously locked in a feud with Saraya, Storm, and Ruby Soho. Now, let's move over to WWE and their 5-match premium live event kind of format that Triple H has become quite well known for, even during his time in NXT. In the Triple H era of WWE premium live events, the number of matches featured on non-WrestleMania or SummerSlam events has been reduced, seemingly being limited to just 5 matches. Now, the change has received mixed reactions from fans, with some believing that the change allows for matches to get more time to shine, while others believe that 5 matches is too little for a premium live event. In an update on the future of the smaller PLE cards from Fightful Select, the shorter cards are expected to continue, and WWE are happy with how they turn out. When asking for the reasoning behind the shorter cards, Fightful was told the format has worked for them, in addition to helping the company stack both Raw and SmackDown too. WWE notes that stacking Raw and SmackDown has been especially useful when running SmackDown in the same city as the next night's PLE. This weekend's WWE Bash in Berlin event is set to feature a 5-match card as per this format. Now, AEW All In, as mentioned, was over the weekend at Wembley Stadium, and there is said to be a lot of positivity in AEW surrounding a number of the surprises that we saw at the big pay-per-view event in London. AEW's biggest show of the year took place at Wembley Stadium last weekend, with a number of big moments taking place on the show. Several of those moments happened during the Casino Gauntlet match, which saw the AEW debut of former WWE Intercontinental Champion Ricochet, as well as the in-ring return of Nigel McGuinness after over 13 years. The match was ultimately won by Christian Cage, but AEW may have been the winners coming out of the show. Per Fightful Select, there was a lot of positivity surrounding the debut of Ricochet and the return of Nigel McGuinness at All In. Christian's victory in the Gauntlet entitles him to a shot at the AEW World Championship at any time. Following his debut in the Casino Gauntlet at All In, Ricochet made his debut on Dynamite against Kyle Fletcher last night, in which he was victorious. And finally, Big Bronson Reed had a big moment with Big Braun Strowman on Monday Night Raw, and reportedly there's a lot of excitement about it. Big Bronson Reed has found himself in the spotlight on Raw in recent weeks since his surprise attack on Seth Rollins following SummerSlam. However, Reed has recently found himself in the crosshairs of Braun Strowman, with the two having a match on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw. The match ended in a no contest when the two men brawled to the back, with Reed proceeding to lay out Strowman on the car before hitting a tsunami splash on top of the car onto Strowman. The spot was praised heavily on social media, and that praise has spread throughout the company. Per Fightful Select, there was said to have been a lot of excitement surrounding the execution of the segment between Reed and Strowman on Raw. Reed is set to be a part of the WWE Intercontinental Championship tournament on next week's show, with him facing off against Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser. But there you go, guys. The latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right-hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.